So thank you. Thank you for the CITC to invite you all to make this keynote today. I'm glad to be here. So the mission that I have today is to give you some overview about the importance of the packaging for the different megatrends that are, let's say, moving around the semiconductor industry. So there are several megatrends. Of course, today I won't focus on every of them. There is the mobile, the smartphone that we know, the smart automotive, the 5G, AR, VR, AI, data center, and HPC. So I won't go through all of them, but what we see coming actually is that there is a diversity of new devices that will require more performance, lower cost, and always more integration of different type of chips, whether it is computing, memory, sensors, and those megatrends are, let's say, fixing the technical roadmap for the future. So here you have an examples of the devices that we anticipate in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And some of them we are already familiar, so there is this, the one that are directly linked to our smartphones, but there are more under development. So one are related to the car. How can I drive my car without doing anything, just relying on the system? Robot home that are coming to our place year by year, the smartwatch, and we will add new functionality, like for instance, the olfactory tree. So we have started, let's say, using on a daily life, imaging, audio, and the next one is the smell. So as you can see, there are a lot of things on our roadmap to go to what we would name augmented intelligence, and to, let's say, enable that, we need to think not only about the design of the chip, but also in terms of design of the package. For those who are not so familiar with packaging or semiconductor industry, you might have learned that the Moore's law is coming to the end, that the level of investment needed to achieve the leading edge nodes, like 3 to 5 nanometers, are now only limited to a number of companies, to some geographical areas, and we need something to solve this issue. So the advanced packaging and the overall packaging is a kind of enabler for that. First, because it requires less investment, and it requires to think, when you design your system, your chip, from the design to the manufacturing to the packaging, to think about the overall, let's say, steps. And it's key because, as you can see here, even if we have some aggressive roadmaps in terms of advanced packaging, they are still less accessible for some companies, mid companies, Europe, in terms of resolution. So just to give some extracts for the RDL, so we are still targeting 2 micron for those who are quite familiar with that. So it's still very aggressive, but still more doable than the 3 nanometer on the front end. So packaging won't be only something just to package a chip, but it would give the functionality to the device. So the way we are seeing advanced packaging is really to bridge the gap between the die and the PCB. What does that mean in terms of business? In terms of business, there is the overall packaging business, and there is the advanced packaging part, where, sorry, there's slide. The advanced packaging, where there is more design, more capability into it, is now reaching almost the break-even point. So we estimate by 2023, or even before that, the advanced packaging business will be half of the total packaging revenue. And it's the part of the business that is growing the most. For those who are familiar with the different type of packaging platforms, so here are some numbers of this world. So in terms of revenue, we are not in the front end, but still, flip chip is still a good contributor overall the advanced packaging business. So initially I was talking about the megatrends. So here we did the exercise to link the different types of die and packaging that are used for all those megatrends. So As you see, flip chip, BGA, CSP will be used in almost all of them, but we can see now that 2.5D, 3D that were not in the field even 6 years ago are now finding their place in almost every megatrend, including the automotive. And that's the reason why today I decided to make a focus on 3 megatrends. The first one is automotive, where we see some changes. So as we are based in Europe, we know how important it is for us, because there are two kind of revolution in this field. Sorry. There is the electrification part that I guess people who are coming from the power side are very busy taking care of that at the moment, and there is the autonomous part that involves people from the sensor and from the computing side. And in the middle of the two, there is the people working on the connectivity. So EV, HEV, I was discussing this at the lunch today. I mean, it's changing very fast. Is entering Europe now. So if we look at the history, what we can see here is that we started some years ago, now almost 20 years with the Toyota Prius, and now we are reached the level of the fact that we are now different brands, and now the path for having more EV, HEV vehicle in the field is year by year we can track the number of cars that are released and the numbers of vehicles available in the field. So there is a kind of boom, as we say, of users' interest in full electric vehicles. So the interest doesn't mean that the solution is here, but still there are people from the car industry working on that. And we expect that beyond 2025 there will be a massive electrification enabled by the historical automotive OEMs. So EV, HEV for the packaging means that we need to have some package solutions for compound semiconductor die that can deal with the thermal management. So in terms of the packaging here, as I will describe a bit later, is key because we need solutions that are not available yet. For the autonomous vehicle, it's almost the same. I mean, the revolution is different because we have on one side the historical OEMs who are trying to go level by level using ADAS. So ADAS is something for the automotive driving system. It's full of cameras, of radars, and it requires a lot of computing. And if possible, it should not cost too much, and if possible, it should deliver a reliable solution. And there is a second approach coming from the people for the web giants like Baidu or Weibo, that are more services company that are considering the autonomous driving with a different angle. They won't go through all the different levels of autonomy of a car, but they want to go directly through the level 5 where we would have a robotic vehicle fully autonomous without requiring any assistance from the driver. What it means that to enable or the ADAS way or the robotic vehicle, we need more electronics in the car, but we need electronics that is reliable. And packaging is part of that. Here we have all the electronics that are available in a car, and just as I was mentioning, so for the ADAS sensors, as you can see, there is a wider range of what I was describing before of radars, and we need to make these devices sending the data to a computing unit to take some decisions. I won't go through all the details, but here we have a lot of questions from our customer about what is the technology roadmaps and actually where the industry is going. And packaging and tech will be part of this path. Here we summarize the growth of the automotive packaging from a packaging platform point of view. So here you can see the growth from 2018 to 2024 and the market size. So here on the market size, we still have some mature technology like the lead frame, the LGA, and here we have a new type of packaging, embedded die, for instance. That's something that is mainly developed in Europe nowadays. So if some of you are connected to the substrate activity, you might have heard of this new packaging where the die is embedded into 2 layers of substrate. And that's the type of package that is targeted for power management, for switch, for some converters, for the EV/HEV vehicle. And in between, we have some more advanced platforms that will continue to grow because of the volume of the electronics that is growing into a car. So case by case, in considering all the type of devices that we have in a car, we recorded and we logged the business for each type of platforms. So I've talked enough about the packaging. Now on 5G, I would like just to give you a short word on 5G. 5G is still at the beginning in terms of deployment. So here, this is the status as it was in September last year. But as you can see, the number of systems per country is still very limited. So I have some colleagues who track that on a regular basis. And we can see that the people who have enabled 5G are mainly South Korea. There are some attempts also in Switzerland because of the smaller surface, it's easier, and some very wealthy countries around Emirates. So 5G also for the RF side is quite important if we think in terms of infrastructure, but it's also very important for the OEM, for the smartphone makers. So here you can see on that slide the different approach by each OEM, whether they are the leaders already or the newcomers in the field. So they have different strategy, different level of integration for the different type of smartphones. So here I just put one illustration on what we call a front-end module in a mobile. This is where all the connectivity of a mobile is managed in a smartphone. And as you can see, so that's let's say mid N1, you can see the number of components that needs to be interconnected and packaged. In terms of business, 5G is for the RF companies a big opportunity. So here that's the status of 2018, and you can see our forecast for 2025. So because of the numbers of additional filters that are needed, whether it's OBO, switches, you can see that the business is growing. So that's also the reason why a lot of people want to be part of this RF supply chain. And you can see here that's a green color. That's something that were not before. That's the antenna in package module. At the beginning of my presentation, I was saying that packaging is important because we give more function to the package than just the package. We give function through this kind of features. And the antenna in package module is very important for the 5G. Actually, it's key, and there will be more than one module in this smartphone. So that's also the reason why the bill of materials is increasing. I will come to that a bit later. Antenna in package. So some of you may wonder why I'm discussing that here. If we look at the history of the mobile, initially we had an antenna outside the phone, then we put it inside with a better form factor, we improved the things, and we have reached a level for the 5G millimeter wave, let's say the next step of the 5G deployment, we need to have the antenna in the package, so that it means very close to the chip itself. It changed a little bit the rules for the packagers, for the designers, and it changed also the way we have to shield our component. Yes, there are some toolbox already available, but for the material makers and for the people who are doing the design, actually, they have to use all these boxes. So whether it is low-loss materials or double-side mode or shielding or even antenna in package, this is all the things that are now used to design the RF front-end modules. So I'm not sure that I have time to go in the detail of each of them, but what is important is that you see there is innovation at the wafer level, and there is innovation in the system in package level, so at the back-end side. The innovation comes from the material, and the innovation comes from the way we are interconnecting and designing. Here I have two examples of antenna in package modules that are now more in the prototyping phase, or that are available in some smartphones at limited volume. So you have the example of Qualcomm, where you see that they have put the antenna with the fan-out package, and here we have a WeGig antenna module where you can see the different patch antennas here. And those solutions are enabling the higher frequency of the 5G communication. Another word on EMI shielding, we have heard a lot on that since many years, because one OEM was asking for it, and it looks like with 5G, EMI shielding will be needed in almost all the modules. That can be also a strategic choice for some OEMs to say, to secure actually and to give more reliability to their smartphones. There will be conformal shielding and compartmental. Here, once again, we are adding more functionality into the package. Briefly, I will discuss about the high-performance computing megatrends and the data centers, because it's taking place in every region of the world. We are deploying data centers everywhere, and why do we need to deploy these data centers? It's actually to enable, let's say, the willingness of the users to have more data, to have more content, more video. So the data center is now became a key end system for us, because at the low end, it enables the storage and management of database. Then we can compute, we can use to compute for data transfer for the different social networks we are using on a daily basis for streaming. There are also now the cloud gaming that is moving from the consumer side to the data center side. And there is the high performance computing. Why it is key for packaging? Because especially for high performance computing, data centers is something where we need reliability and we need packaging with performance. And for that, all the players, the leading players in the semiconductor industry, have worked on having their own solutions, having their own IP, their own patents to be part of the business. Illustration of that, we have here the leading edge platforms for high-end, and the people who are mentioned here are Intel, TSMC, GlobalFoundries. So why those companies which are making tens of billions of dollars are investing in packaging? Because it's an enabler. I mean, TSMC is now saying that they are making 3 billion of revenues in advanced packaging, which is relatively small compared to the business they are making front end, but they still continue to invest and develop in that field because it's key. So here you have all the different platforms that are available for high-end performance. Some are already released and some are more in the production and ramp-up step. But high-end is also very important, and Europe, even though there is no many leader from Europe in that slide, Europe has something to take advantage of it because of the research institute, because of the equipment and the material suppliers. In terms of business, it will grow because of the need of more computing and, let's say, mid and high-end performance computing. So here, just to give you some forecast that we did, we just for the packaging, we estimated by 2023 that it would be just a little less than 6 billion. So I thank you. Thank you for your attention. I try to make it fast and easy, hopefully.
Well, you did, Emily. Please come forward a little bit. If there are, because I would also like to give the opportunity for the audience, if there are any questions, or is there anyone who has a question for Mr. Yvette? That's okay with you. I can use a couple of minutes to do that. Or is there any recognition for a company, for instance? Is there anything new what you have seen just now? 3 big questions. Is there any question? All clear?
No, then, yeah.
Thank you.
Could you elaborate on...
One second, I'll give you a mic. You want?
Yeah, hello. Thank you for your excellent presentation. Could you elaborate on the relevance of the CITC for this all? So how does this relate to the CITC in your view?
Thank you very much. That's a
Maybe
beautiful
it was
question.
your
Yeah.
question.
No, it's a good question.
From my understanding, CITC has a roadmap that is on the power packaging, on the RF packaging. There is something the heterogeneous integration and the additive manufacturing. So from my presentation, so the heterogeneous integration fits very well with the ion packaging, where we need to interconnect several chiplets. And for the two others, power packaging that is linked to the electrification, let's say the power management and the automotive in general, but not only automotive, it's also data centers. I think the topics that were picked up by CITC are in line with the megatrends that I was presenting.
So how does this cooperation look like with the CITC? You have close communication, or you're following the developments here, or back and forward? How does this
We
look
have
like
some-
day to day?
We have some discussions, and I
You have some discussions,
I hope there will be more in the future.
Okay. So it's a promise, or yeah, okay. Good. Are there any other questions? Yes. Mag je vragen om de mic? Die is wel helemaal achterin. Hello.
Good afternoon, my name is René Benning de Vries. I would like to ask you a question of photonics. More and more we see applications coming along that marry, say, photonics as a technology with the semiconductor technologies. So I wonder, do you have a view as to the specific requirements for the photonics domain and packaging?
So from our understanding, we are investigating that at the moment. My understanding is that the people from photonics, they need so first reliable solution, but they need also to have the heterogeneous integration. So at the moment we are at the silicon level, where we can take one chip, another, interconnect onto a silicon interposer. Now the idea is to have the transceiver coming on that. There are some development also in Europe, and some big corporates are doing that. And in the future, people want to have also all the optical going onto the interposer. Whether it is silicon or glass, we'll see. But now there are a lot of European programs working on it.
That is a big market in the longer run.
So I think the number of transceiver now is really small up to now. But now I think people need to convince that the solution is cost effective, available, and after they will transfer it into the data centers.
Okay. For now, a last question from yes.
My name is Rolf van Viel. If you look to the world, how do you feel Europe is positioned to take a leading role in this area of semiconductor packaging or packaging for photonics, as just mentioned by René Benning de Vries? Looking to the industry, the development there, and also the knowledge in our universities and institutions. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So I was discussing this a bit earlier. So actually what we see in Europe, there are some R&D, very good R&D centers, whether it is IMA or LITI. There are people who are doing the design of the systems, there are the tier one, the OEMs, but I think we need more relationship between the people who are doing the packaging. So now most of the ODATs are in Asia, including TSMC that can somehow be considered as an OSAT now. So I think we need to strengthen that really to make sure that Europe still has a complete supply chain of value chain. Supply and value in the sense to make the business, and supply in the sense to have a control on our continent. If I take the example of the USA through Intel and through the different packaging platforms I showed, they still have the complete strategic from the design, the front end, the packaging, even if they don't really make money out of it, and the system. So in Europe we maybe have to strengthen a little bit.
What is the main gap in your view that has to be filled up in Europe?
It's not the knowledge, it's the volume, because the production is not here.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Final question for me. You were describing trends. I see a lot of involvement in all the possibilities. Can we, looking to the future, can we even imagine all the possibilities in the end? we as a human, can we stretch our mind so far that we can see what we will do with all this functionality in 20, 30 years?
I think maybe you saw the slide where there's all this what we call augmented intelligence.
Yes.
This is what the companies have on their roadmap.
Yes.
A lot of robotics, and to make sure that the human is brainless sometimes.
Human is branded.
No, but the idea is to rely on the robotics to do a couple of things that we don't have to do,
Yeah.
whether it is driving, whether it
Yeah.
is cleaning.
So that there will be room in our minds for perhaps other things like creativity or find out even new solutions or applications for this high-tech technology. Okay, before I introduce the next keynote speaker, I have for you a small, slight, mysterious black box, but I can tell you it's chocolatish, so no problem. Thank you very much for your elaboration. Please welcome Ms. David.